What's up YouTube? Welcome back to this week's video. We are taking a queen headboard and adding some paneling pieces to turn it into a king-sized headboard. So the first thing we are going to do is I'm using some of my maple ply that I have in my stock, and I'm going to cut these to 25 inches long, two cuts at 25 inches long for our first couple panels that will actually attach to the current headboard. So let's start. Now that we have the correct length for each of these pieces, we now need to make it the correct width. So these pieces need to be 6 inches to get them to the exact measurement that we had in mind. So now I'm going to use my table saw to cut these two pieces down to 6 inches wide. So now that we have these panels cut, I pocket hold them for where they're gonna attach into. So before I get to sanding any of these, I'm gonna cut our overlay pieces, which add a nice little 3D effect to this. These panels, or the current headboard, already had this on it, so I'm just kind of mimicking that style. The next step after I cut these to the 6-inch width, I used my miter saw, set it to 45 degrees, and stood the paneling pieces up on their sides and just mitered in these 45s here, because what we want to do is have like a overflow effect with these pieces. So the next thing I need to do is cut the top pieces that will be used for these, and I'm gonna use the same type of material, maybe 3/4 inch maple ply. Obviously got to cut it to 6 inches wide, and then we got to rip it to a depth of 2.5 inches. So let's do that. Boy, do I need a new blade. Anyways, we now have our piece mitered at 45, and I'm going to just measure out two 6-inch pieces from the strip, and then we're going to get these attached together. And as you can see here, we have those 6-inch pieces of those miter cuts in and assembled. I just used my nailer to secure these pieces together. Then I filled the holes with wood putty, and now we have our nice seamless transition there. I'm really proud of my miter cut there because I'm not really great at them, so W's are always accepted when they happen. Next step, we are going to be ironing the wood. This is some edge banding here, and we are just going to do that on all the exposed edges of the pieces. I waited to obviously do this step until these pieces were attached because it would make no sense to put edge banding on any of the miter pieces because they're just going to get covered up anyways. But now we're going to go around all these pieces on the edges, with the exception of the sides that are pocket hold for these panel pieces, and we're going to edge band. So let's cue a time lapse. So here we are, it is the next day. I finished up the rest of the panel pieces, all the edge bandings on there. Something that I looked up and found from Lowe's for about $3 is it called a banded edge trimmer right here, which helped me get everything nice and flush in terms of the edge banding instead of using the utility blade cutter there. So if you can find one at Lowe's, it's like $3. I highly recommend it. It makes the process a lot easier. I'm gonna let these cool off now that they're all done, and then I'm gonna get to the trickiest part of this project, which is gonna be staining, because the color is a color I've never really seen before. So I'm gonna try to do some mixing and hope that it turns out the way I need it to. So you will see me after I'm done staining. Alright, so we have had quite an adventure in order to make this color match. First of all, here are our pieces that we have matched now, and I pretty much nailed it. So the way that we got here though has been tricky. I bought red chestnut stain, and it was obviously very red, and then I used hazelwood to lighten it up, and it created a pink wood, a pink stain. And because in the light that we were looking at this at, it looked very pink. But then like I'll put up a picture, it was way too pink, and it didn't look even remotely close. So I was like, okay, maybe I gotta throw some yellow or use some pine. But actually what I ended up doing is just sanding off those two stains completely. And it, as you can see over there, it gave us our match. And then these are the exterior panels that are gonna be going on the outside edge of this headboard. But because I just put polyurethane on those, I'm gonna wait. And then these pieces are gonna have to get nailed into place. So I'm gonna wait to put in those, obviously, because I need the panels on there, and then I'll get these nailed in on both sides so it's nice and secure. But as you can see, we're creating a nice 3D effect. This looks super cool. I really like it a lot. And you'll see me once these are dry and we can get them attached to the actual headboard themselves. All right, quick programming note. I noticed how on the back of this, they actually attached all these paneling pieces with screws. So what I decided to do is I'm gonna follow suit, and I will do the same thing for those cover pieces. But obviously for the outer pieces that I made, those are getting pocket holed in. But for the cover pieces, I'll secure them from the back to the front. And because I decided to do that, I also put on the coat of polyurethane on here, since I don't have to worry about covering any brad nailer holes or anything like that. So that was just a quick programming note. You're gonna see that what I said first time isn't what's gonna happen when you see the time lapse going on. So I'm just letting you know why. All right, now to the time lapse. And as you can see, I used some flush trim screws on the outer piece to secure that into our top cover. And then I used 1.5 inch screws up top to secure this piece in, and then 2.5 inch screws down there. And I did that on both sides, obviously, to make sure everything's nice and secure. And this is how we're looking now. Pretty much a perfect match. I'm so happy with how this turned out. This looks awesome. And the last thing I'll have to do is deliver it.